Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. Again, I'm in the craft journal and I'm playing with an Art Foamies stamp. So I'm starting off just by adding some white paint onto the background using quite a dry brush really, just to brush some of that paint onto the background. So if, like me, you are based in the UK, Art Foamies stamps are very difficult to get hold of, but not anymore, because there is a company called funkyfossil.co.uk who is now a stockist for these stamps. So if you are wanting to get your hands on some, get yourself over to that website and get some ordered right away. That's where I've got these ones from. And this one I'm going to be playing with today is one designed by Donna Downey and it's called Hollyhocks. These stamps are just fabulous. Not only are they really nice to hold and use, they do create really lovely stamped images as well. So next I'm using some matte medium and I'm going in and adding some white on white collage tissue paper from Dina Wakley onto my background. The reason I'm doing white on white I guess, is just to add more layers to that background. It creates a bit more depth in some places, and also you can see little hints of the text as well, because I really wanted the stamp to be the focal point of this page. I didn't want anything to detract from it, so I wanted the background to very much stay in the background for once, which is unlike me, isn't it? So also at funkyfossil.co.uk you can get your hands on lots of great stencils that's designed by Sarah. This one that I'm using here is called Brush Marks, and as you can see, again, I'm going in with white, so I'm just layering up the layers of white on this background. This is a really good stencil. I love that for just creating those little marks. So now I'm going to start using the Art Foamie stamp. As you can see, it's brand new, it's never been used, so quite excited to have a play with this. I decided that the best way to get the paint onto the stencil was to use a blending tool, but I guess you could also use a brayer if you wanted to. I suppose you could even put the paint down on a gel plate and stamp your stamp onto it. That would lift some of the paint onto it, but for me the blending tool worked quite well because it also meant I was able to blend some of the colours using the blending tool onto the stamp directly. So you see I'm just kind of dabbing the paint on. I didn't want too thick a layer, but equally so you want enough so that the stamped image is going to show. So that's fuchsia that I'm using there, and also actually no, that first one was magenta, beg my pardon, and the second one is fuchsia, sorry. So you can see in the middle they've kind of blended together, created quite a pretty colour. So then just stamping that straight into my journal. If you weren't confident stamping straight into your journal, then you could just as easily stamp onto some collage tissue paper. That would be a safer option in case you were worried if you might make a mistake. That would be one way to do it, but look, at so pretty. So my intention is to layer these stamps over each other. Now I'm just kind of smooshing those colours together to create a new pinky colour. Yeah, so because it isn't coming out really opaque on the page, it's going to be really easy to layer them, and it will create a really pretty, almost ethereal effect really. So again, I'm using fuchsia, and I'm going to introduce a little bit of turquoise in to these flowers too. That creates a really pretty lilac colour. I was dithering about where to put it then. Oh, I love that colour at the bottom, so pretty. So I'm just kind of dotting the paint around on the stencil, not worrying too much about covering every part of it, because now I'm onto the layering part. I'm just adding more stamping over the top. So once I was happy with the amount of stamping, I'm then just going to add some lime and fur splatters using the gloss spray. So this is just to give the idea of some greenery without going in and painting loads and loads of little leaves. I just thought the splatters might kind of work quite well to create that idea. So just using the stem of the gloss spray just to add some splatters onto there, or pocks as Dina would call them. And then I'm using my white Posca pen. I'm just going in and adding some white dots in the middle of some of the flowers, not all of them. Some bigger than others. Just to kind of draw a little bit of focus into the flowers to kind of give more of an idea that that's what they are. So on a page like this, for me, it is just about building up the layers and the layers of interest that are there. So starting right from the white at the very back, and you'll notice that some of the layers that you create you can't actually see, but I think it does help to create the overall effect of the page, the depth that it creates too. So next I'm going in with a Signo Uniball in white, and I'm just adding some lines, outlining in quite a sketchy way around some of those flowers, just going around them a couple of times. And like I say, like with putting in the centre of some of the flowers, I'm only drawing around some of the flowers here. And then this is a transparency from Scrap FX, one of their text ones. And I'm just going to pop that in as my quote, using a stapler to add that in place. It seems to be one of the best ways to get these transparencies to stay. And then I am using a Posca pen, and I'm just doing a rough border around the edge of my page. I'm doing a couple of lines because I like the way that creates that sort of unintentional look, although it is very intentional. So it also, because that's creating a frame, I just feel that kind of finished the page off really. I don't often put borders around my pages, but sometimes you just think that is just what something needs. And this was one of those occasions. And I think that is pretty much it. Oh yeah, just some black splatters that I added into the corners of the page. Just creating a little bit more depth again. Trying really carefully, as you know, not to decorate my room any more than it is decorated already with the splatters. Trying to be quite controlled with where it goes. This is why I've started using my smaller fan brush to do this, because I think with the bigger one it really does just go everywhere. I've even decorated my clothes too. So okay, and then I think once that was all dry, the page was finished. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me using this Art Foamies stamp called Hollyhocks, designed by Donna Downey from funkyfossil.co.uk. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.